Hello, welcome to my channel, The Ascension Guide. I'm your guide, Joe Martin. So today's video, Ariah wanted me to talk a little bit about good and bad, and how it's really just a matter of perception in a lot of ways. Right now in the world, there's a lot of perceived bad going on. And there's also a lot of good going on as we would perceive it. So there's always two ways we can look at things. I did a video not too long ago, put a link here that you can check it out if you're interested, about duality and how we have the option to look at things from kind of either side. We can look at the awful side of things, or we can look at the good side of things. And with the examples were like Disney and some of the awful corrupt stuff that they're involved with the child trafficking, different things that have been coming out. Or you can look at it is a magical place and a magical kind of entity that is for a lot of us was a big part of our childhood and gave us a lot of joy. So we can choose to focus on either side. And that's kind of the same with what's good and bad. So they wanted me to share a parable with you real quick. It's an old Chinese parable. So how it goes is there's a farmer and his son, and they're on their farm, and the fence breaks and one of their horses runs away, and the son comes running up to the father and he says, "Father, our fence broke and our horse ran away. What a terrible thing. This is bad for us. How are we going to get our work done? How are we going to get around?" And the father looked at the son and said, "How do I know what's good or bad?" And so the next day, the horse comes running back with a whole pack of wild horses. It comes running into their farm and goes into the fenced-in area. The father and son had fixed it, and so now they had went from one horse to several horses. And the son comes to the father and says, "Father, the horse came back with all these other horses. What great fortune we have." And the father looked at the son and said, "How do I know what's good or bad?" The next day, the son is out trying to break some of the new horses and riding them around. He falls off the horse and breaks his leg. And he says to his father, "What misfortune, I just broke my leg. Now I'm not going to be able to do this and that and help out as much as I want to," and blah, 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 and on and on. And the father looks at the son and says, "How do I know what's good or bad?" And the following day, the army comes looking to conscript different people for the army, sign them up for, against their will essentially, to go participate in the war. And since the son has a broken leg, they can't sign him up. And as they're leaving, the neighbor comes up to the father and says, "Wow, what great luck you have. They just took my son, and your son was broke his leg, so he wasn't able to go." And the father looked at the neighbor and says, "How do I know what's good or bad?" So, as you may have picked up throughout the story, things can seem bad at one moment, and then a few days later, you look back and say, "Oh wow, I'm really glad that that happened." Even though it seemed bad at the moment, it was for your higher good. And that message right now, I think, is really important for a lot of people, because I know people are losing their jobs, maybe their homes or families, or there's a lot of change going on right now. This ascension process is ramping up. It's getting intense. So understand that while things may look bad on the outside, we can't see the bigger picture all the time. We can't see that, yeah, this happened, and now later on down the road, it happened for a reason, so that this other bigger, better thing can happen for us or to us. Or even different than that, maybe it kept you out of a situation that was dangerous, or maybe you would have found yourself in way more harm or danger or just not liking the situation that you're in. You know, sometimes we don't always have that foresight. So the world's changing, and that's about the only thing that's true in this universe 100% is that it's always changing. So understand what we're going through and understand your level of perception of things too. You know, things that you may have thought were good or bad, 5 or 10 years ago, your perception's probably changed on some of those things. So understand that things are always evolving, always changing. Your level of perception and understanding is always changing and evolving. So with that in mind, take a look at your life right now and things that you may think are really bad or really good or what have you, and maybe just take a step back and say, hey, do I really know what's good or bad? Do I really understand this whole thing yet? And if you can zoom out of your situation for a second and say, are things really as bad as they seem, or are things just changing and I'm uncomfortable with it? And like I said in one of my last videos, I've lost my job and different things, and I really feel very confident in this whole situation. I see what's going on in the world. I see the corruption coming to light. I see people standing up for what they believe, and I think that the world is changing, right under our feet without even a lot of us realizing. So, stay strong, stay positive. Just understand that, what may look bad may actually be for the better in the long run. I personally think with all the craziness in the world, I'm looking at it from a positive point of view, that people are waking up every day and realizing that they've been controlled for so long. Realizing that this is all a big game, a big theater show in a lot of ways. So, there's always the two ways that you can look at it. And I think that us taking a positive spin on things and trying to understand that things happen for a reason, understand that things happen in a way where we can look at it as, why did this happen to me, or why did this happen for me? And those, reframing it in that way, can really change your whole outlook on things and change, from you being a victim in life to you being in control. If you look at things as lessons for you instead of things that have happened to you, your outlook's going to be a lot different. It's going to change your perception in the world. So I hope this helps. If you got anything out of it, like always, please like and share to help the algorithm and help other people to see this content, as hopefully it helps them too. And if this does resonate with you, please hit the subscribe button to let me know that you're getting some out of this as well. Yeah, so thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in, and I will see you on the next video. Love and light.